Hey viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and oh boy, it has finally arrived! Chapter 3, Deadly Life of the Danganronpa Antebellum fan game. Oh, you have no idea how excited I am for this. This came out over Easter. Apologies that of course I'm a few days late to actually getting round to actually playing it. But I was just busy basically over Easter because I was up visiting friends and family in the north of England, so I was away from my recording setup. But I'm now back down in my safely ensconced in my little flat, where I'm going to have an opportunity to have some recording sessions. And I knew I have to get a look at this one. We have to continue the story. It's been quite a few months since I played the Chapter 3 Daily Life and all that. So, there's quite a few people out there who've been commenting on the videos for, of course, this fan game, who've been really enjoying, by the looks of it, watching me play this. And, I am really looking forward to getting back to this, because Danganronpa Antebellum, I know I've had the odd sort of minor criticism here and there of certain aspects of the design, in terms of things like, for example, certain voice lines being a bit quiet, or maybe just like typos in some of the dialogue, things like that. But actually, those are minor gripes, and on the whole, this is actually a really good fan game when you sort of think about the overall package. The kind of nice visuals, the sort of RPG maker mechanics, the fact that it seems to have more and more of a fleshed out story that's starting to take shape, things like this. It's really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it, folks. Now, I'm just going to say right now, what I'm going to do, of course, with this chapter is what I pretty much did with every other chapter when I played it. I'm probably just going to play through the whole thing, or as much of it as I can, in one go, and then I'll split it down into episodes. And also, I apologise in advance here, because it feels like probably the first 10 minutes of this episode, I'm probably just going to take this opportunity to just have a recap, mainly for my own benefit, because, like I say, it's been quite a few months since, since Chapter 3 Daily Life, since we played that. It's been quite a few months of waiting for this one to come out. So my memory was going to be a bit rusty. So what I did was, in advance of playing this, I went and watched, or rather I re-watched, all of my videos that I did for Chapter 3 Daily Life. And I basically typed up some notes. Now, because the thing is, actually I remember, when I was playing Chapter 3 Daily Life, I actually had a memo on my phone that I kept with a few details on it. Slight news, that phone that I had that memo on unfortunately died quite a few weeks ago, so I had to get a new phone. Unfortunately, I don't have that memo anymore, so basically, I had to go back, rewatch a load of my videos, and I've basically written down about 3 pages worth of just notes, things that I think are significant, not just in relation to this particular murder case that we're about to get into, but also some more general stuff as well. I always find it actually something that, fuck it, I'm just going to go through what I've written on these pages. Like I say, there's going to be about 10 minutes of recap here, folks, before we actually get into the episode, into the game itself. So just bear that in mind. In fact, I'll just press the new game now, just to get us in, just so it kind of quiets down the music. But something that I did note when I was rewatching my Chapter 3 Daily Life stuff, it's always interesting how at the start of the chapters, after a murder trial, it always says patients remaining, not remaining students or survivors, at least from what I watched of the first episode that I did of Chapter 3 Daily Life. That's what it said. So I think I just want to kind of make a note of that, because I think that probably is significant. So obviously, as usual, we've already been speculating that there are ties into Hope's Peak, because Hope's Peak has been mentioned in Chapter 3 and probably before that as well. It's also worth noting that at the start of Chapter 3 Daily Life, we saw Shinku's kind of like dream that he was in, where there were loads of other characters who were all named, things like that. Of course, there's other little details about characters who I've noted down as well. Obviously, Kotaro is still very much pining for Ichi, very much depressed, not likely doing very well on that front. Of course, Lyra, we know, is obviously the ultimate con artist now. She's not the ultimate debater. And I think actually part of the implication is that Ray, the hypnotist guy, he actually knows that and has been blackmailing her over it. We know that Amelia apparently burnt down a hospital at some point in her past. Taka, meanwhile, was withholding evidence from crime scenes to try and get the ratings on his TV show. We know that Kiyoshi, for example, used to kidnap girls. I think it wasn't it? Because he was like obsessive with his art and things like that. Um, so little just details about the characters there that I think are worth reminding ourselves of. Things like that, because I think basically everyone in this game has some little secret, something bad from their past that they've done. Other things that are worth noting: Asuga, the ringleader girl, she has, I think, a transgender brother, Kohana, I believe, because I think we saw him, or I should say him, her, I'm not sure which pronoun will be correct, in a broadcast, in a flashback, and I think that basically suggests that Asuka really wants to get out, because she's worried about her sibling, basically. So, in essence, what happened, of course, in Chapter 3, Daily Life towards the end, was that there was a ceiling collapse, and it separated the cast into two groups. So, Group 1, we had Asuga, Rei, Kotaro, Mint, Takiko, and Shinku. They have access to, and I've just made a list of rooms here which I think they should have access to. They should have access to the kitchen, the fitness centre, the biodome garden, the trash room, the shop, the medicine storage, the food court, the trial waiting room. And so they set up their beds in the food court, obviously in the aftermath of everything collapsing. Group 2, meanwhile, separated over on the other side of the building. That was Ismini, Lyra, Kiyoshi, Amelia, Alora, and Taka. They have access to the library, to Lab 1 and 2, the infirmary, the lecture hall, and the sterilisation centre, possibly other rooms as well that I've not mentioned there. They decided to divide up those rooms amongst themselves as bedrooms, so Lab 1, Lab 2, and the infirmary, 2 people per room. So Ismini and Lyra would take the infirmary, Taka and Kiyoshi in Lab 1, Alora and Amelia in Lab 2. So then there's also another important point. Takiko apparently did find something in the garden. Mononeko gave her then a lot of monocoins to try and keep her quiet about it. We later find out that that's basically a secret door in the grotto in the biodome garden, which I am strongly hypothesizing is probably an entrance to a passageway that links both sides of the building. Because that's the thing, there's 2 victims. It's Chapter 3, so it's a double murder case. Amelia appears to be dead, and so does Taka. Now, I must apologise. At the end of Chapter 3 Daily Life, for some reason I got Taka and Kiyoshi's names mixed up, and I kept saying it was Kiyoshi who died. It wasn't, it's Taka. Taka was the one inside that weird fucking sort of like containment tank, whatever it was, with those weird creature things inside them. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's really, really strange. So basically I think the implication here is that there's 2 people from the Group 2 who've died, and so I have a feeling that once we get into the trial here, people are going to be all like, oh, well, it's got to be someone clearly on Group 2 side who's done the murder. But no, because obviously Amelia's body has been found on the Group 1 side, and we, have a strong reason to suspect that basically that secret door probably could be a passageway that connects the two. So someone who might know about that, basically. So we wonder who that could be. We'll find out. Other stuff that's been going on in Chapter 3 Daily Life, which I think is just worth having a recap about, mainly for my own benefit, but also for you guys' benefit as well, in case there's anything you've forgotten. Shinku, of course, has been having a lot of hallucinations. He had a sort of weird sort of hallucination friend, quote unquote, called Info, who showed up at one point and started like really trying to get him to doubt in all the other characters. We had, of course, flashbacks of younger Lyra on the streets, being offered employment by a strange man named Shado, or Shido, however you pronounce that. She too apparently has her own inner demons, much like Shinku. Because, of course, her whole deal was that she was the ultimate con artist, not the ultimate debater. She took Callum's talent, Callum being obviously a character who she met in her youth. Speaking of Callum, though, something that was interesting in Chapter 3 Daily Life in one of the flashbacks to Lyra and Callum was how they referred to GCSEs, General Certificates of Secondary Education, for anyone who doesn't know what that is. It's basically a high school qualification here in the UK, which I find kind of interesting, because I'm pretty sure Danganronpa Antebellum is made by a British team of fans, primarily. So, I mean, that makes sense on that one hand, but that does tie into something else, actually, that someone commented on one of the Chapter 3 episodes, I think it was, saying that there was something I missed, apparently a map somewhere in one of the beginning areas, where apparently, if you look at it, it shows a map of the world, but all the continents are really weird. And that just ties into something actually that I picked up on when I was rewatching my Chapter 3 daily life stuff. So let me just look for it on my notes here. Where have I written it down? I've written it down somewhere. Now I can't find it. Where is it? Well, I don't actually need to really read it on here. Because come to think of it, actually, I mean, it'll just no, here it is. I found it. So there've been repeated mentions in past episodes of a country called Aster or Asteria or something like that. And that, I think, ties into what I just said about someone commenting that on one of the previous episodes there was a strange map that shows the world looking very different to how it actually is. And that, I think, also ties in maybe to the fact that Callum or Lyra, whoever it was, in one of the flashbacks in Chapter 3 Daily Life mentioned GCSEs. So is Aster formerly the UK? Is that what's going on here? I'm sort of curious because I mean, I may be clutching at straws, I've no idea, but quite often in Danganronpa games, sometimes, the little details that you think might be inconsequential actually turn out to be little clues and things that are just hinting at stuff that's going on in the background. So there was that as well that I think is worth noting. Now, what else? So Takiko, obviously, I think is the first character, possibly by the sound of it, who found out about the secret door, given that Mononeko gave her a load of coins to keep quiet about it. So Takiko, possibly. I mean, there's maybe a bit of suspicion there on her, but obviously not enough yet to conclude that she is a real proper sort of major suspect in terms of the murders and all that. She might be kind of the red herring one, like the more obvious suspect who then turns out not to be the one guilty. But other stuff that I think is worth noting, upon discovering the secret door in the grotto, it was Mint who volunteered to keep an eye on the garden to see if anyone went in or out. Ray, of course, has been very sort of sinister throughout this, and I very much think he's kind of taking on the antagonist role in this fan game. The possibility of there being a traitor in the group has very much been raised, and Ray, has had different suspicions. He's doubted Shinku, for example. He's doubted the plan of Shinku, Asuka, and Mint to monitor the grotto, and things like that. But yeah, so kind of the way it works is obviously on day one of Chapter 3 Daily Life, the ceiling collapsed, everyone got separated. So then on the next day, Lyra slept in until 11. She and Ismini then went on a body patrol where they meet Amelia, who got kicked out of Lab 2 at 5 a.m. by Alora. After that, Ismini and Lyra then found Taka pestering Alora in Lab 2 for pills. They take Taka away. They then see Kiyoshi outside stalking Alora, as always, because he does. Then as night arrived, Ismini and Lyra had that sort of heart-to-heart scene, lying on the bed. Plenty of character development. Taka showed up. They all then went to sleep. We then had a flashback of Lyra's back to Sachiko, which was interesting because it mentioned Hope's Rising rather than Hope's Peak, which I thought was a curious little detail. So that's probably not a mistake. That's probably a deliberate thing. Then we went sort of back to Shinku in the medicine storage, which I think was still very much at night. So once again, having a vision of his little hallucinatory friend, telling him not to trust the others. Asuka tried to help, but he basically shut her down, then went to the food court where Kotaro was. That was when we had that whole weird scene with Kotaro being weird, making the tea for us and insisting on Shinku drinking it. Ray enters and kind of toys with them, telling that it's basically poisoned and that he should drink it, things like that. Shinku actually does drink the tea, turns out it's not poisoned, and Ray has the actual poison cup. So I think Ray is very much kind of playing games with us, trying to figure out, who might the mastermind or the traitor be, or whatever. Then after that, we went back to Lyra on her side of the building. Another flashback to Sachiko, and how possibly they might have been in love with one another. So then daybreak came. Taka woke Lyra up along with Ismini. Lyra once again slept in, so Ismini and Taka had already been on body patrol and found nothing. Alora was apparently keeping an eye on Lyra in the meantime until they returned. So later, then, in the evening of that day, Ismini and Lyra once again went on a body patrol, and that's when shit started to go down. So gas started filling lab side well, started filling the side of the lab, the building where Group 2 was. Ismini managed to escape to the lecture hall, but got locked inside before Lyra could get in. So Lyra then headed to the library, whereupon she then got locked inside the library. Mononeko was there and revealed it wasn't him who put the gas into the vents, or so he says, and that the other side of the building also was hinted might not be having any gas at all, which we confirmed later on to be the case. Lyra then sort of had a bit of a breakdown, with a possible memory of her finding Sachiko dead, presumably murdered by that Shido or Shado character who I mentioned a moment ago. So then events went back to the other side of the building, so at the food court. Asuga arrived and found Shinku's suicide note. And this is where I think it gets important to sort of note the order in which things then happened. So she rushes into the hallway where she first finds Rei, who figured something was happening and then starts looking himself but goes elsewhere. Asuga then saw Takiko by the door to the fitness room, but Takiko proved of no help because she was just sort of like gatekeeping accesses to certain rooms, things like that. Asuga then went to the garden and found Mint in the cave/grotto, and this is where something else I think is possibly interesting, but the dialogue at that moment says she found him there breathing a sigh of relief, which could mean, I don't know, it could just be nothing, it could just be him being relaxed, because apparently he finds the grotto and the garden very relaxing. But I'm just going to make a note of that, the fact that he was breathing a sigh of relief, because that could mean, I don't know, that could be like one of those tiny little details that you don't think anything of at the time, but then turns out later to be important. So then Mint and Asuga returned to looking in the hallways. Takiko and Rei then appeared to say they hadn't found Shinku in the hallway with the rocks, and then Kotaro showed up. Shinku is then eventually found in the medicine storage trying to sort of make a cocktail of substances. Asuga talked him out of suicide and offered to take him to the grotto to relax, so she and Mint took him there, but that's when the three of them then found Amelia's body. And I'm just going to sort of give a bit of a reiteration in terms of what we saw when we found it. So she had flowers in her hands. Amelia's body had flowers in her hands, and parts of her body seemed to be entwined by like vines or creepers. So that was when a body announcement happened, because three people found the body. But this is where I think things get kind of sort of potentially a bit interesting, and I think this is where it might get a bit similar to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc's Case 3. Because you remember in that, if you've played Trigger Happy Havoc, you remember in Case 3 in that one, there was a bit of like a sort of debate about the body announcements and which body announcement was for who. And I have a feeling that there could be something similar about to unfold here, because there was a body announcement in the scene where we found Amelia's body because there were three people there. But then it flashed back to Lyra in the library. So she exited the library and was heading for the lecture hall, but then Alora appeared and took her to see something. And Alora took her to one of the labs where we found Tarka's body inside that strange cylindrical tank. But no body discovery announcement played at that moment. And Alora just said to Lyra, you need to go and get someone else as we need three people for a body announcement. But that's when one then occurred, which presumably could be the body announcement for Amelia at the same time, suggesting that the bodies have been discovered round about that same moment. But the problem is, I think it gets a bit awkward and we don't know exactly what's going on there, because, like I say, that could have been the announcement just for Amelia's body at that moment rather than Tarka's, but there's an alternate explanation. What if actually it's the one... No, actually, now that I think about it and say it out loud, I'm not sure. No, actually, that might not make sense. Sorry, I was about to say maybe there has already been a third person who saw Tarka's body, in which case the announcement is for Tarka and not Amelia. But, I don't know. It might be something that we unravel in the trial here. No, actually, no. I think the announcement probably is for Amelia's body. No, I may be tying myself up in mental knots there. And then after that, there was a final blacked out scene with an unidentified person speaking apparently to a traitor, but of course we don't know who that unseen person is or who the traitor is. So that is a sort of recap, ladies and gentlemen, of everything from Chapter 3 Daily Life leading up to this point, at least all these sort of key stuff that I think, well, that I thought personally was worth noting. So now, thank you for sitting there and just listening to me waffling on this, dark screen, just recapping everything that we have encountered so far, because mainly that's for my own benefit, like I say, because it's been many, many months waiting for this Deadly Life to come out, so my memory will have been a bit rusty. I've also actually written down on the back of my sheet here the voices that I'd given to certain characters. Yeah, something that I often notice does get mixed opinions from my viewers, the voices that I give characters, because I always tend to sort of lean a bit into absurdity with the voices that I give characters. I just give characters random silly voices just so they're all distinct from one another. Some people enjoy that, some people are like, what the hell are you doing, Red? I don't know, I may tone down a bit of the silly voice acting, perhaps, and start maybe being a bit more serious. It's just the problem is if I just talk in my sort of regular voice, but just trying to maybe talk in a way that I think would be befitting of the character, I'm just worried that all my voices are going to end up sounding exactly the same, which is why I kind of lean into the absurdity, to put it that way. But yeah, right, that's enough waffling and recap from me. Let us get to the game itself, because obviously this is going to be several hours long, probably, because obviously we've got to do the investigation and then the trial. Right, now I don't know who's speaking here. This could be Lyra, it could be Shinku, we're not sure. I'll speak normally then for the moment until we know who it is. There's something you should know about me, that deep inside, behind everything, I'm actually a really nice person. I really want to try my best from now on, so this is a bit of a problem, you see. I'm a bit at my wit's end. What would you do? 15 criminals. That's what that mysterious robot said. And in the end, there's something you should know about me. Hang on, 15 criminals. Did we have 16 characters at the start of this fan game? I hadn't actually checked that. Hold on. So, how many have I got here listed down on my sheet? I've got Dracul. Obviously, he died early on. And Shinku. Eiichi, Meiko, who obviously also died early on, Yui, that's 5, Amelia 6, Taka 7, Asuka 8, Kataru 9, Rei 10, Kiyoshi 11, Alora 12, Takigo 13, Izmini 14, Mint and Lyra. Okay, so yeah, there's 16. So I don't know. Who's this talking then? Yeah, so there were definitely 16 people at the start of this. It's not a Trigger Happy Havoc situation again where there's 15 at the start, but then it turns out there's a 16th. There's only one thing I value above friendship, whatever that means, and that is justice. Is this Meiko? Again? The magical girl, who secretly turns out to be a complete vigilante weirdo? Because she, on the main menu, when you saw that visual a moment ago, when you flick through the options on the main menu screen, I think it's always like versions of her sprites that keep showing up, which is curious. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's Meiko. What voice did I give Meiko? Sort of like a gruff voice that was completely the opposite of what she actually is. You see, I'm kind of thinking, should I try and do sort of like a magical girl voice? But no, because it will sound terrible. This lab is apparently filled with terrible people. I was doubtful at first, but I heard an admission of guilt. It's a bit unnerving, but maybe the good here still outweighs the bad. So I'm going to be everyone's saviour. I'll corrupt my own soul to stop the bad apple from spoiling the bunch. That's what I hope love is. Undergoing hardship to protect the weaker from harm. That should be what love is. Oh stars, they're leaving. Scatter, scatter, scatter. Melody Pretty, away! That's it, Melody Pretty. That's what she called herself. I'm Melody Pretty. Now, is this Shinku? I dash through the halls. No, maybe this is still Meiko. I dash through the halls. I don't know what I'd say if I had to face that criminal. I couldn't stop myself from being bitter in front of its friends, and that would make it suspicious. Ah, fuck it. Maybe I'll just talk in my normal voice for her. It would also make them hate me and think I'm weird. And how am I going to explain if I'm just trying to protect them? Make sure they don't get hurt again? If Mama didn't understand, they're definitely not going to get it. Besides, it'd be quite nice to be their friend. You're back again, right? Well, this is back in chapter 1, apparently. You were the sing-song voice, but again, because you're dead, I might just talk normally. Do you mind using your eyes? Huh? Look, sorry. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Just be more careful. You walked straight into me. I could have been knocked over and hurt. Did you think about that? Huh? Oh, no. Go on, sorry. It was an accident. I pinky promise, pinky swear. With my heart and soul, I didn't mean to hurt you. Just a simple sorry would have been fine. It's alright. Really? Oh, thank you so much, Yui. You're too kind. Yes, you're lucky to have me as a friend. Other people would have just hated you and discarded you the moment you accidentally bumped into them. Friend? You're my friend? This is literally the most exciting day of my life. Well, I suppose in a situation like this, it's good to do networking. If you want to call it that, then sure. As two of the prettier girls here, we can support each other. How about that? Let me know in the comments, folks. I mean, not that this is going to obviously affect the playthrough of this chapter, but obviously for future chapters, do you want me to just sort of talk normally? And maybe put a bit of inflection on certain voices to try and make them a little distinct from one another? Or do you want me to do my sort of crazy, ridiculous voices? I don't know. It depends. Let me know in the comments, folks. Oh, right, I've already read that. What am I doing? I'd love to be friends with you, Yu. Can I call you Yu? I'm super happy with this. You can call me a friend nickname too. Do friends call each other nicknames in real life? Of course not. That'd probably be weird. But I wouldn't be opposed to, if you want to. Okay, you're so fascinating, Maiko. Really? Mello. Yep, Maiko. Now, I need to know I can trust you. After all, this whole criminal thing is a big worry for my little old head. I'm sure you can relate. For some reason, when she's a friend, I don't mind too much not being Melody pretty. It's like someone actually wants to like Maiko. Ah, of course I can. Oh, you can't even imagine Yui. Oh, right, of course, sorry. Getting used to this whole teammate-friend thing. Think of us more as associates, alright, dear? Friends don't mention their friends every 5 minutes. Right, sorry. I really hate criminals, if I'm being honest. I think that's really human, but I'm super worried about this whole thing. But don't you worry. I'll protect you from them, no matter what. Well, of course, I know you're a criminal yourself. I'm just sure your crime is more minor. Well, I have a theory that actually there's only a few bad apples in the bunch and the rest of us are innocent. They only lied about the criminal thing to stir up suspicion and encourage murders and stuff. So, as long as you don't say you're guilty, I believe you're not guilty. And I hope you can believe you're not guilty too. I'm glad to hear you can see the truth. I've obviously been put here by mistake. Or perhaps I'm that innocent angel the robot mentioned. Well, it's my job to protect innocent angels with everything I have. I'll protect you, Yu. I've already found one very, very bad man. And I'll keep you safe from him, no matter what. Is that so? Well, if you really want to keep me safe, I have a task for you. A quest, if you will. Oh. Has Yui been trying to engineer things behind the scenes before she died in case 2? I'll absolutely do it, 100%. Anything to make you feel safe. Why, thank you. You see, I'm awfully worried about everyone around me. I really do want to see who I can trust. So, there's just one tiny, itty-bitty thing I'd want you to try for me. And that is? It's simple. I just need you to approach some of the people here and talk to them one-on-one. Pretend to want to be their friend, get any information you can about their crime and give it back to me. I don't know how I feel about that, Yui. I don't want to lie to people like that. I'm meant to be everyone's #1 supporter. I do it to keep you safe, Mei. We're friends, aren't we? We put ourselves in positions we might find uncomfortable for the sake of making the other person feel safe. You do make a good point. You didn't just only want to be my friend to use me, right? You weren't lying when you said you'd keep me safe. Of course not. Yeah, right. If they're criminals, it's okay to lie to them anyway, isn't it? Oh, thanks, Mako. You're the best. Oof. Yui is manipulative. It's nice to see her smile like that again. I'm glad I didn't mess it up. I'll get you any information I can, I promise. Wonderful. I'll be in my room, Maker. I'll be waiting for you to report back later tonight, okay? It's Mako. Oh, well, Melody pretty. Bye, Yui. I watched her walk off, took a deep breath in. I waited for her to get a good enough distance away before I started walking myself. Everyone would likely be around their bedroom since it was fairly late. Apparently our own rooms were customised to us. Would have been nice to have walked over there with her, but I forgot to mention it, and now I don't want to seem weird and like I'm just walking after her. But eventually, I arrived at the bedroom area. It was time to start my mission. Oh, okay. We're actually in. Okay, I actually do need to just take that music down, because it's actually quite loud. I'm going to leave those other audio levels as they are for the moment. Oh, and we've got to remember I can always save. There we go. Alright, well this is our mission. Guess we can talk to people. Shinku isn't answering. Hope he's okay. Maybe he's just engrossed in work. Okay. Oh. We can go and talk to Dracul, though. There he was, in front of me. The filthy little criminal. Self-admitted guilty bad apple among us all. Could I have knocked on the other doors there, or was I meant to come into Dracul's room? Just looking at him, I knew he was going to attempt to deceive us all. Oops, sorry. Sorry. There. I'm getting gas coming up my throat from my tea, good lord. Deceive us all into thinking he was trying to do better just to drag us down again. But I know better than that now. So for justice, I must... this was more like a thespian voice that I gave Dracul, wasn't it? I could probably do the sort of Shakespearean thespian voice. Oh, hey, Melody Pretty, you doing okay? Yeah, I'm just checking up on everyone. It's pretty scary news, right? Lying, pretending he's a completely nice and normal person. It makes me sick to my stomach. Those poor businesses. It's a pretty dire situation, dear fellow, but we just have to keep pushing through, don't we? Don't worry, I'll always be our fearless leader here to protect us and push us through. I can't actually remember, what was Dracul's crime? What had he done? Or his bad deed, or whatever it was. Can't quite recall. He wants to influence the weak, turn them all to forgiving him. That's so cool. I was going to do the same thing too. Not really as a leader, but I want to protect everyone from evil, no matter what. Maybe in another life we could have been friends. I think I'd like that. I know we've all done some bad things. I hope we can put that aside and work through it for the sake of all of us. This has to be for the sake of all of us. Ooh. A choice. I know, or attack him, or just ... Huh. Well, is this a meaningful choice? Because I don't know. Because she didn't attack him here, did she? She attacked him during the party in Chapter 1 when she murdered him. I kind of want to know what happens if you attack him, though. I couldn't stop myself. I lunged and grabbed his arm and... Hey, hold on, calm down. Hey, deep breaths. He tried to push me off, but ultimately I was stronger. I'd done this before, after all. I took a deep breath, trying to think of the quickest way to do this. I realised I didn't have any weapons on me. Hey, come on, Mel. Come on, I get your stress from this whole killing game thing, but you don't have to do this. Mel. I have to now, or you'll tell everyone. I won't, I promise. I'll just assume this was your natural stress reaction and a one-time thing. Just put me down, okay? Put him down and hesitantly looked him up and down. Oh God, I couldn't restrain myself for even a moment. Oh no. Mel, are you okay? I have to go. I'm sorry. It's okay if it's justice. If it's justice, right? It's okay if it's for you, right? I left their room in something of a hurry after that. I feel like I really messed that up. Still, I promise you that I'd get her that information, but there's no way I could come back to her with that. She wouldn't be happy with me whatsoever. Didn't want to make her upset. Melody Pretty would have flawlessly been able to get that information, but I'm not really her, am I? I passed by Yui's room and considered it for a moment, but in the end, I couldn't even knock. I couldn't stand being seen as a disappointment again. Huh. So was there a choice there? Oh, I kind of want to find out now. What would have happened if I just nodded along to him? I stepped back into my room and sat on my bed. Huh. The bedsheets were styled around Melody Pretty. Everything in the room, Melody Pretty. Isn't that pretty? I really try to be her, I really do. Because who would like Mako in the end? But with everything I do, I slip away from the ideal me that I want to be. I looked up at the reflection of myself in the mirror, wearing this cosplay. This mask of the person I should be. I have to be her. What use am I without her? What use is me trying to be me? Oh, I understand it fully now. I look so pretty. Justice is the prettiest on me. I have to reconnect with that, completely throw my old self away to embrace her. I'll use my useless life as a vessel to birth her into our reality. That way my actions won't be my own. They'll be hers, and as beautiful as her. She's so close. I just need to do something to reconnect myself to her, disconnect myself from Mako. Something for justice. Okay. Nice CG. I'll save you. I'll save you all. 'Cause I picked up the voice recorder and gently placed it on the ground of my room. I'm Melody Pretty. Click. Let the silence begin. Ending 1. False melodies? What? There's multiple endings in this one? What? Okay, well at least it sends us back, so we can reload. Okay, hang on, let me check the other rooms. I can go in other people's rooms. A bottle of apple juice because drinking is bad, and Melody Pretty does not support drinking. That's so cool, fan mail for Taka. Never mind, not reading this. This is not PG-13, of course it isn't. Melody Pretty supports all pronouns aside from sex weirdo. Wow. Oh, I love cake. Cute. There are cat ears. He must love cosplay like me. Yes, he likes being a kawaii cat boy, does Tarka. He also loves his fish. You were the sort of 1950s voice, American voice, wasn't it? Yeah, if it wasn't the one who's less famous than me, have you come to discuss a potential business partnership? Something along those lines, yeah. Well, I'll have you know that the favour of Takahiro is highly in demand, so if you want it now, act fast. I've already had one person form an uneasy truce with me. My assets are greatly valued. Who's that? Oh, just Takahiro himself, you know, the epic celebrity. Huh? How is it an uneasy truce if it's with yourself? Yeah, trust no one, not even yourself. See, you clearly know nothing. You must desperately require my services. I'll even give them at a discount. Are there going to be choices for all of them? Huh. Okay, take the Tarka test. Tarka, you're kind of mid. Yes, he is. In fact, he's less than mid. Yeah, you dare to take the Tarka test? If that's my character arc now, then yes. Potential minion candidate located. Well, I prefer to be the leader, but I do like helping my Tomodachis as well. Melody Pretty, always ready to help a friend in need. Yes, all very good in anime and that weeb stuff, very marketable these days. But you see, to pass the Tarka test, you must answer my very important questions. Question 1. Have you ever done something scandalous that you wanted to hide? Hey, aren't I the one that's meant to be getting information? He's more devious than I thought. Well, one time I considered piracy, but I didn't do it because pirating from indie developers is wrong. I didn't want to get arrested. PSA. This is the dev talking, folks. I've definitely done worse than that, but how is anyone meant to rely on me as their saviour and arbiter of justice if they know that? I see. Now, have your emotions ever driven you to do something rash and negative that's more scandalous than piracy? Well, I really hated how a lot of people would treat my mama. It really grinded my gears, so I... You? I, Melody Pretty, used the power of friendship and kindness to have a mutually beneficial, open, communicative talk with them about their treatment of my mother, which led to a peaceful resolution. Ah, you didn't let your negative emotions take hold? I'm a big advocate for being kind and having fun. Now question 3. How great am I? On a scale of 1 to 10, or... Oh, no need for all that flattery. I already know I'm amazing. Okay, alright, I love the self-confidence. Question 4. The final question of the Taka test. Have you ever been implicated or been involved in a gasp pause for dramatic effect murder? Oh, wait. Is he saying that, or is he meant to be sort of... murder? How does he know? How does he know? How does he know? How does he... Nope, no. For the sake of the ratings, everyone in my show is sent to the darkness dimension. Death would be far too gruesome for the little kids. Yeah, I see. Well, Melody Poggy, I will keep your application for my subordinate alliance in mind. I'll consider all your answers carefully and get back to you soon. Now, do you wish to leave one Tarka tip? Sorry, Tarka. No, it's just probably a Kya. Sorry, Tarka. I don't have any money on me. Deducting points from your application as we speak. But adding on points because not tipping staff is pretty evil. I don't want to be evil. Yeah, then why did you apply to be my evil minion? I didn't know it was for that. In order for this tomfoolery, we can save the hijinks for tomorrow for now. I need my beauty sleep. Oh, then I'll leave you to that. Goodbye, Tarka. He ended up getting more out of me than I got out of him. He's a tricky one. Okay, maybe this was better? So, you talked to the little famous one and found out nothing? If anything, you got more information out of me than I got out of him. I should have known. So why did you even bother coming back to speak to me? Well, I felt really bad about not being able to get my friend the information she wanted, so I made us matching friend mugs as an apology. Your one says best conductor ever. And what does yours say? I love my best friend. Smiley face. She signed... Is that supposed to be sighed, rather? Looking at the mugs, looking at me while pinching the bridge of her nose. Well, you'll just have to try again tomorrow to get information. And make sure you don't let Takahiro get anything else out of you, okay, sweetie? Don't want you being dumb and getting yourself in trouble, so stop being an idiot, okay? Yep, understood. I'm sure you won't screw this up again, dummy. She gently patted my head. I closed my eyes and relaxed a bit. She hadn't given me up after my mistake. I may be a dummy, but at least I'm someone's dummy friend. And that's better than just being Melody Pretty. Ending How many endings are there? What? Hang on. Wait a fucking minute. Hang on, wait. Can we do Drackles again? Okay, let me skip through this dial and get back to the choice, because we've seen this. So, this time we just trust him. I know, or just say I know. Okay, we're going down a different path. So clearly one of these must lead into the investigation. This is all one big flashback, apparently. I find it interesting that Mako is getting this whole big section for herself. Okay, I think it's best to not ignore the bad things people have done. We need to acknowledge it, but it's best to try to give people the benefit of the doubt, don't you think? Even if they've done something really bad. God, I'm getting gas coming up my throat again. What sort of fearless guildmaster would I be if I didn't push them through the fear to give someone a second chance? Liar. 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 Are you doing it because you genuinely believe in them, or because you want that second chance yourself? It's just my nature. People deserve to be given a chance no matter what. So if someone hurt your sisters, would you give them a second chance? How do you know about them? Answer the question with that unbreaking belief of yours. You can't, can you? Because it would clash with what you believe. But you don't really believe that stuff, do you? That's why you always stood on that bridge, isn't it? Looking out and letting out all of those thoughts in your head before you got home, sparing your siblings from them. Is that love to you? How do you know these things? Love for me is taking a chance to make it right. I can't end until we're free. I'll protect families from evil and wrongs no matter what. The only way to do that is to remove the bad, regardless of motive. That's why I'm rejecting your belief of everyone here, if it really exists. Because when everything's at an end, I should probably say, people will still hurt. You know what happened better than anyone? The only thing I can't stand more than criminals is liars. It must be pretty hard to be yourself then, huh? I'm not upset. I want you to know that. Maybe my idea of justice is selfish, maybe it's wrong, but I can't stand by with belief and hope people magically get better, that past wrongs are made right. Some wrongs can never be made right, regardless of apology. You know that, right? But even so, you understand it, right? It's better to lie and have unwavering belief, right? If you want to protect everyone, you'll stay positive and open until the moment you judge them. That way you give them the best environment to do better. That's what you're doing by becoming melody pretty, right? And distancing yourself from all of this. If that's the case, I think instead of judging everyone all rashly, we could work together here. Are you still attempting to scrub the stains off your hands? Don't you know justice is a black light? Hey, come here, listen. We're a lot more similar than you want to admit. We're doing this out of a love for our family, aren't we? And even so, even if everyone here is awful, even if I'm awful, even if you're awful, I'm not saying I'll believe and preserve to bleach my past. I've never wanted to do that. But I want people to keep believing in my belief, even if you think it's a lie, in hopes that in some way I can push them to do better, be someone worth that false belief. You want to do the same, right? I want to fix this. I know. But we have a common goal here, right? Making the world a better place. And it's nice to see their eyes light up at my positivity, to see them want to push through where I can't. It's better than finding no reason to keep going and dwelling on that, isn't it? What was her name? What do you mean? The girl. Which girl? The one who wanted to push you. Oh, who you wanted to push you, sorry. That's... Wow. You got all these funny ideas up in your head, huh, Melody? You sure do have something of an imagination. He ruffled my hair with his stained hands. We really are alike. What will it take to accept my belief? Your false belief? I think with it, we could save everyone, actually. In conjunction with mine, we could be everyone's saviours. I never needed to be a saviour, I just needed to be someone's friend. Then be people's friends, become as close as you like, believe in them with all your heart, alright? Okay, you two alright? I understand it now. That belief, that false belief you pretend to have for everyone here, we can use it to push everyone here to redemption. I don't think redemption is real, not at all, but maybe through your smiles, through deceiving them and making them believe that someone believes in them no matter what. Maybe through a desperate, damaged criminal, clawing at people's weaknesses to get into their hearts, to try to understand connection. Maybe through that, we could get as close to redemption as these people will get. I promise you, Drukul, through our lies, I'll make you feel loved. Oh yeah, he's completely harmless. That's a relief too. He's sort of handsome, don't you think? It'd be good if he wasn't a massive criminal. Maybe we could get him to stop playing with those silly children's toys. That's the only thing turning me off him now. Maybe. He didn't hear it from me, but I totally think he secretly has a massive crush on you. Oh, really? Well, I mean, who wouldn't, but really? Yeah, you should totally talk to him more. Maybe something could happen. Well, if you're certain he's innocent. Did something happen? You look different. I discovered something. Oh? What's that? It's a Melody Pretty secret, but you'll find out pretty soon. Don't you worry. Okay, hey, where are you going? Oh, to bed. It's been a really long day. Alright, good night. Oh, and, stay safe, okay? You too. Unassuming. I'll be unassuming as I save you all. If you believe in me and him with all your heart, if you rely on me and him, our fake belief, you'll get compliant. So to push for real change, a real chance at redemption, you need a real push, right? You need to lose that support. Realise you need to push forward for those who believed in you, who are gone. Within the confines of this game, I could only rid 1 or 2 criminals, unless I got away with it. So I'm going to be everyone's saviour. I'll corrupt my own soul to stop the bad apple from spoiling the bunch. That's what I hope love is. Undergoing hardship to protect the weaker from harm. That should be what love is. We can corrupt both our souls together, Dracul. See it as our double suicide, our sacrifice of love. Spare their souls and use our deaths as a way to push them to wash the stains off. I'll taint their views of me and spare your lie. I'll let them keep believing in your lie. It's softer to swallow, after all. They'll all hate me, but that's okay. If it's to save them, it's okay by me, and they'll still love you. That's what Melody Pretty would do. I'll discard Mako, I'll throw her away, for our perfect sacrifice. I'm okay with it, if in the end, this is all for justice. Was that the right route? I am not Melody Pretty. So this is it. I'm scared. All I wanted was a chance to make it right. To make the world safer. To make sure no one had to be lonely like me. I'll destroy Melody Pretty's image as I'd like. But I'm sorry, Mama. I can't ruin your little girl. All I wanted was a chance to save them all. To make them cleanse their sins. I'm sorry, Dracul. I won't say I'm not her, so... When we reunite in hell, you can see Mako, the girl who didn't use you. And maybe then... we can finally meet. What? Ending 6 love suicide? How many endings are we about to go through here before we get to the actual investigation? So, hang on. Is there another Dracul one? Oh, sorry, Shinku's door. He's not answering. So if I do ... with Dracul, does that give us a different one? Holy crap. This is not what I was expecting. Okay, hold on. Where's the... Oh, shit! No. Oh, fuck! I freaking pressed enter one too many times. Alright, hold on. I'm going to jump cut whilst I get back to there. Whatever you want to call them. Technically, they're supposed to be his fists, but that's how they refer to them. But technically, he's using his fist to fire a magic thingy bobber. Oi! Get out of here. Stop it. I want that bubble. It's mine. Okay. And before we go there, where those yellow and blue ones are, on the right, there's a cave down here, which may have some interesting secrets in it. Let's go and have a look. So yeah, this is my favourite level of Rayman 2, this one, with all the underwater swimming. I'd probably also say that the underwater level in Rayman 3 is also one of my favourite Rayman levels. I didn't even need... Whoa, that was a bit of lag then. Jesus. Didn't like that falling.